Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're jumping into the world of anime and tackling a question that I think a lot of us have pondered at some point, especially those of us who grew up in Arab cultures.
And that question
Is anime really just for kids?
I see, a classic debate. And you're right, it's a perception that's quite prevalent, particularly within certain cultural contexts.
Exactly. Like, growing up, many of us were exposed to anime through heavily edited TV broadcasts. Like, who could forget those hours spent glued to Spacetoon?
Oh, absolutely. Spacetoon was a staple. But what we might not have realized back then was just how much those versions differed from the original Japanese anime.
Right. It wasn't just about the language, was it?
Not at all. We're talking altered storylines, scenes removed entirely, even character backstories completely changed, all to make it more, shall we say, appropriate for a younger audience.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it, like finding out there were all these deleted scenes in your favorite movie that completely changed the whole story.
Exactly. It really highlights how easily context can be lost in translation, so to speak.
It makes you wonder, how much did we miss? Like, take the character Mimi from My Sister and I.
Oh, yes, I remember that one.
She always seems so sweet and innocent in the dubbed version we used to watch.
I know, right? But her backstory in the original Japanese version is, well, let's just say it's a lot more complicated. Touches on some themes that definitely wouldn't fly on a children's channel.
Wow, that's quite a contrast. Which I guess brings us to our main point. When we talk about anime, we're talking about a whole universe of genres and stories, right?
Absolutely. It's a medium, just like live-action film or literature, with endless possibilities.
To say it's just for kids is like saying all books are children's books just because some are.
Precisely. And that's something that's important to remember, especially with so much variety out there.
Speaking of variety, it reminds me of that article you shared, 5 Kueso e Sen Oto e Skushio Squid Game. I'm talk about a show that's definitely not for kids.
Exactly. It just goes to show that anime, like any form of storytelling, can explore mature and complex themes.
So where does that leave us?
Well, it means we need to dig a bit deeper.
So we've established that anime isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. But there are anime specifically designed for children. Right?
You're exactly right.
Yep.
Within this vast landscape, there's a specific genre called kodomomuke.
Kodomuki.
Yeah, it translates directly to intended for children. These shows are carefully crafted with younger audiences in mind.
Makes sense.
Focusing on age-appropriate storytelling, ethical lessons, and promoting positive social behavior.
Okay, so like the Sesame Street or Bluey of anime, but, in Japanese.
You could say that.
Yeah.
Think relatable characters, often adorable animals, going on adventures, learning valuable life lessons about friendship, kindness, and overcoming challenges.
Right.
In a way that's both entertaining and educational for young minds.
So it's not just about keeping kids entertained, it's also about teaching them to be, good people.
Exactly. These shows can help children navigate social situations, understand their emotions, and develop empathy, all while enjoying captivating stories and lovable characters.
That's really cool. Now, I'm curious, do you have a favorite kodomomuke anime? Anything you'd recommend?
Oh, there's so many wonderful ones. But if I had to pick one, I'd say Cheese Sweet Adventure. It follows the story of a kitten who gets lost and finds a loving home.
Ah.
It's heartwarming, adorable, and teaches valuable lessons about kindness and empathy.
That sounds really sweet. See, this is what I love about our deep dives, always learning something new. But on that note, it's important to remember that while there's a whole category dedicated to children, it doesn't mean all anime is child's play, right?
Absolutely. Just like with any form of media, awareness and informed selection are crucial, especially when it comes to what we expose children to.
Yeah.
The existence of kodomomuke underscores the fact that anime creators recognize the need for age-appropriate content. However, with the vastness of the anime world comes a responsibility to be discerning viewers.
Right. It's like you wouldn't just grab any random book from the library and assume it's suitable for your little cousin.
Correct.
Especially since, as you mentioned earlier, those edited TV broadcasts might have given us a skewed perception of what anime truly encompasses.
Precisely. Those age ratings and genre classifications aren't just there for show. They're valuable tools to help us navigate the vast world of anime and find content that aligns with our interests and maturity levels.
Okay, so how do we do that? How do we move beyond those limited perceptions and appreciate the full spectrum of what anime has to offer?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one that deserves its own deep dive. One thing is to start by recognizing that exposure shapes perception.
So knowing all this, how do we move beyond those limited perceptions and appreciate the full spectrum of what anime has to offer? What can we do to encourage more informed choices, especially in cultures where those preconceived notions might be more prevalent?
It's a great question, and honestly, it's something that deserves its own deep dive. But I think a good starting point is recognizing that exposure really does shape perception. The more we engage with a wider range of anime, especially stuff beyond what we might have seen on TV growing up, the more those preconceived notions start to fade. It's like anything else. The more you experience something firsthand, the more nuanced your understanding becomes.
Right. Like, we can't just rely on those limited glimpses we might have had. We need to actively seek out different styles, different genres, different stories to really see what anime is all about.
Exactly. And it's not even just about watching more anime. It's about engaging with it on a deeper level, like read articles, discuss it with friends, explore all the different subgenres out there. All of those things help build a more well-rounded understanding.
It's like that saying, don't judge a book by its cover. You've got to open it up, dive into the story, and see where it takes you. And who knows, you might just discover a whole new world of storytelling that you never knew existed.
Absolutely. And it's okay to have preferences within that world, too. Just because anime is diverse doesn't mean you have to love every single show. The beauty of it is that there really is something for everyone, whether you're into heart-pounding action, thought-provoking sci-fi, or those heartwarming slice-of-life stories.
Speaking of heartwarming, I have to say, learning about Koromomuke and how it teaches kids valuable lessons through these creative and engaging stories has been one of my favorite parts of this deep dive. It just goes to show that anime can be so much more than just entertainment.
It's true. Anime, like any art form, has this incredible power to educate, inspire, challenge our perspectives.
It's been eye-opening, to say the least. So for anyone listening who might be feeling inspired to, explore the world of anime with fresh eyes, where would you suggest they start?
Well, I always say, start with what interests you. What kind of stories do you naturally gravitate towards? What are your favorite genres in other forms of media? Once you have that starting point, there are tons of resources available online to help you find anime recommendations tailored to your specific tastes.
That's great advice. And don't be afraid to ask for recommendations from friends, online communities, places like that. There's a whole world of anime enthusiasts out there who are always happy to share their passion and, point you in the right direction.
Exactly. And remember, it's a journey. Don't be afraid to try something new, step outside of your comfort zone, and just let yourself be surprised by the sheer creativity and diversity that anime has to offer.
I love that. So on that note, I think we've done our deep dive for today. Hopefully this is giving you all a new perspective on the world of anime and maybe even inspired you to check out something new.
Definitely. There's a whole world waiting to be discovered.
And on that note, we'll wrap things up. Until next time, happy watching.